Hello. Welcome to On the Sofa with SISU, with me, Olajide.
And me, Louisa.
And this week on our poddy, we talk about Louisa doing the jig for St. Patrick's Day. We touch on the menopause. And we talk about IKEA and sexual harassment claims. We then jumped straight into talking about the connection between equality, equity, inclusion, and well-being. And we take some amazing questions from our SISUciety. So jump in and enjoy the episode. Stay brave, stay curious.
And stay honest.
Hello. Love it. I haven't had a shimmy in a while.
Every time you do it, I just think, well, the PR girlies.
Oh, the PR girlies. If you're out there listening, hey.
I love that story.
Oh, dear. Okay, should we start with a little gongy session?
Yeah, I've been practicing.
Okay, I'm ready.
Are you ready, SISUciety? Deep breath.
Take a deep breath.
This is your sound bath coming from SISU.
On the sofa with SISU.
I feel like I could literally do that for ages now.
That's amazing. That
I
just
know.
set me somewhere.
I think this is going to be an arm of SISU.
Well, you've got your yoga.
Yeah. Yoga, meditation, sound bath, all of that.
Commune.
It's a very nice little arm to have.
Yeah.
It's very apt for this episode, actually.
It is very apt. Apt. I don't like that word.
You
Apt.
use it all the time.
Do I?
Yeah.
Do I
It's
actually?
very apt. Why do you not like that word?
It doesn't really make any sense.
Why?
Apt. What does that mean?
It means that it's relevant.
Appropriate.
Yeah.
Okay. Anywho, how was your week? Tell us all.
Yes, nice week, very good week. Obviously, it was St. Patrick's Day last week. So, going by Maisie's heritage and Ricky's heritage, we had a lovely 30 minutes of Irish dancing in the kitchen.
Did
which
you?
Was brilliant, yeah. Had on, Lord of the Dance. Obviously, I was showing off my river dancing skills. Yeah.
Are you going to do it?
Yeah.
I didn't know you were going to perform. Oh, God, that's so nice.
Really?
Did you get a video?
No, we didn't.
Oh, you could have put it on the TikTok.
We were just enjoying the moment.
You can't enjoy the moment anymore. You have to get everything on the TikTok.
No, it was really fun. It was really nice, paying homage to, the descendants. And what else did I get up to last week? St. Patrick's Day. Oh, yeah, obviously it was Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Had a very nice Mother's Day. Maisie and Ricky took me out for a lovely breakfast. And
Where did you go?
We went to Barracuda and Bushy High Street. It was really busy in there, actually.
Not
Very
surprised.
nice. I do like breakfast in there. And then Maisie and I went swimming together. We had a lovely little swimming sesh. And then I met up with my mum and Maisie, and we had a little takeaway at mine. We had a little afternoon tea. We started watching the rise and fall. I'm just going to announce that Maisie is actually here in the studio today. So if you hear any little whispers to my side, it's Maisie.
She's definitely going to make a couple of noises in between. She's heard her name a couple of times. She's literally like this.
Oh dear. So that was a super nice day, very wholesome. I actually loved it. Maisie was being so cute. She was like giving me all the love and all the compliments and made me a cup of coffee in the morning, and yeah, really nice. She did her duties.
I've got something very controversial that's just popped to my head.
Oh, go on. We're not doing theme days.
Yeah, we're not doing theme days, but are we doing Mother's Day?
I am doing Mother's Day because...
Your mother?
Because obviously because of that, but also because, it's the one day that Maisie knows that she's got to treat me extra special, and I love the love. And obviously you know how much of a beg I am.
Desperately need her affection.
I'm such a beg.
You used to tell me off for trying to get her affection.
Yeah, I know. I know.
You'd be like, stop being so desperate.
I know, but she's like, she's growing up now and it's becoming few and far between my kisses and hugs. So
we are doing some theme days.
We are doing begging, I thought you were going to say. We are now begging.
We're now begging. We've always been beggars. Anyway, what else? Was that it? Mother's Day,
yes,
St. Patrick's.
Yeah, and then obviously we had that cool panel discussion on racism, inequality in the workplace and wellbeing.
Oh my God, that was so immense.
Yeah, it was
that
good.
Was so good. That was with KTN.
No, it wasn't with KTN. No, that was with...
that was PVL.
It was with Financial Ombudsman.
Financial Ombudsman. I can't say the word.
Financial Ombudsman.
Ombudsman.
Yeah, it was. On behalf of PVL, they do tend to get the people together and then they run the panel talks for various different companies, organisations and brands.
We had some great conversations around racism at work, racism in the news, which I literally lived for. I was like, no one ever talks about racism in the news and the effect it has on people.
Yeah.
Which I was like, this is a
very
really
true.
Very interesting conversation. I felt like we could have got deeper.
We definitely could have. The thing is, I find with panel talks is they're never long enough.
No.
But they can't be.
No, because otherwise you'd be there forever.
Yeah.
But it was really interesting. I was like, I'm always super honest. I was like, it's fucking problematic.
And it was really it was a nice, diverse panel. Again, I thought we had a couple of people in New York and then we had obviously us and different perspectives. It was nice. Good conversation.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And then we finished it on talking about allyship.
Yes.
Which is always a nice way to end it, I think.
Yeah.
On a positive note. Cool.
How was your week?
My week, since the last time we recorded, because I never really quite understand when my week starts and ends anymore.
I feel like they don't. It's just rolling time.
It's just oh dear gosh. I'm so glad that we're talking about well-being today because I feel like I need it. But my week has been great. I went to Devon with my friend for the weekend, which we stayed on a farm, and I had some friends that were joining us. I had...
I feel like I'm picturing chickens and goats now.
Did you not look at my Instagram? I was literally living my very best farm life. Oh my God! You need to get back on Insta because you miss all the juicy stuff that I post. I'm getting really good.
I do sometimes hop on just to have a little nosy at you and a couple of other people, but that's it. Then I'm like, oh God, get me off.
We arrived on the Friday and it was dark. It was raining, and it stunk. And I didn't realise that we were literally staying on the actual farm.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was... What did
it smell of? Manure?
Manure.
I like that
and
smell.
Cow dunk.
Dunk?
Poo.
Done.
Shit. Done.
Love him. Cow dunk, everybody.
It smelled of cow dunk.
I love that.
But yeah, it was a breath of fresh air. We woke up in the morning. We got there in the evening, had the fire on, had some wine, and just completely chilled. And then Saturday morning, woke up and did pottery class, which I've always wanted to do. I've literally wanted to do pottery for so long.
I did see you post a little picture about that.
Yeah,
that looked lovely.
I did a little reel of my pottery with my hair was flicking all over the shop.
You did a reel?
I did a reel.
Stop it.
Oh, no, I didn't do a reel. I did a story, sorry.
Oh, okay. All right.
I was going to do a reel.
That's not as impressive.
No, I was going to do a reel. And then I decided on a story. Anyway, so did pottery. I made a plate. I made a bowl. I tried to make a vase and couldn't make the vase. Louise is currently telling Maisie to stop moving.
You need to stop spinning on the chair and moving, speaking and everything. Welcome to a little slice of my life.
Yeah. So I can't stop laughing. You two should be on a TV program of your own. So I made a plate, but I tried to make a vase, and I basically couldn't make the vase. And bless the teacher, I think she was really sweet, but I don't think she was able to teach. She was someone that has done pottery, really enjoys it, but then is now opened and started teaching other people, but instead of teaching, she was like doing it for me and like jumping in.
Oh, right.
And then like she'd jump in and do it, and then it would ruin what I was trying to create.
She's basically micromanaging.
Yeah, it was like, and every time I got to stage, I was like, okay, now what do I do next? And she'd be like, and just do this and this, and she would just do it so quickly, I just couldn't get it. But I really enjoyed it. I ended up making this weird bowl, and then she was like, just do whatever you want. And
Did you glaze it after?
No, they glaze it for you because I've got enough time.
Wait, so what, do they send it to you?
Yeah, they send it to you in the post.
Oh, nice.
So I'll get a plate, a bowl, and then like she was like, go wild and just fill the clay and make whatever you want. So I made this like art piece, which is...
I cannot wait to see that. I can't wait to see that.
Which is a bit random, but I must say that I'm pretty impressed with my plate, with my little bowl that I made. It was like...
Do you then choose the glazing colours and stuff like that?
It's white.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's white.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was really fun. And then we went in to town, and we were staying in like near Lyme Regis, which was beautiful.
Oh, lovely.
Watched the sunset, and then woke up on Sunday morning and watched the sunrise.
What time was that?
6:15. It was beautiful on the beach watching the sunrise. I just feel like...
Gosh.
Just
I
really,
want a bit of that.
I know, it just really zened me. And I was like, and I actually said to Sean, I said, I feel like we need to come and stay on the coast, the Jurassic Coast, for like 6 weeks or 2 or 3 weeks during the summer holidays.
Whoa. 6 weeks. So, yeah.
Just like retreat down to the coast, because there's something about being near the water that just really like calms me.
It's a different vibe down there.
Such a different vibe. I must say, I was literally stared at like a hawk the whole weekend.
Oh.
Yeah. It was like, it got to one point where my friend that I was with was like, what is going on? Why is everyone staring at you? And I was like, this happens to me all the time. It's really annoying. I said, I don't think people sometimes realise that I can see them staring at me.
Yeah.
And it was frustrating. So that was amazing. And then I spoke at the hotel, restaurant and catering show at the Excel Centre yesterday, did 2 panels, double header. I mean, I won't be doing that again.
Can I just say, you're so good because you never make people feel uncomfortable back. If I was with you, I'd be like, what are you looking at? What are you actually looking at?
Yeah, because I don't want to get arrested.
Well, that's my privilege, isn't it, I suppose?
Yeah, I can't afford to do that, unfortunately. Because
mouthy white girl.
If I mouthed off in the middle of some beach resort somewhere on the coast, I'll probably end up in some sort of cell. You'll see me on the news being cuffed. It's the reality of it, isn't it? Really, it's quite unfortunate. But yeah, I spoke on a panel around. The first panel was on wellbeing and just generally like talking about our own well-being, how we deal with well-being, how we implement well-being into businesses. And the second panel was on retention, not recruitment, and about how we should be focusing on retention and keeping the people within our businesses. How do you go about doing that? What should the focuses be? And obviously I was coming at it from an E&I perspective and a well-being perspective. And also just about, again, storytelling and showing people that there's progression in the hospitality sector.
And how did you find those topics of conversation, though? Because do you feel like they're sometimes a little bit samey? Oh,
she is. Here we go. Haven't used this in a while. Yeah, no. Do you know what? Sometimes I feel like the answers that people give are a bit samey, but then when I take a step back and I walk away and I go, actually, there's people there that haven't heard it before. I may have heard. I've done the rounds I've been out with the girlies. I've been out with the girlies this quarter. I've literally pimped myself out all over the shop. So I have heard quite a few of the same things over and over again. But I guess the audience has always been very different. But I do think that there is still quite a lot of good key takeaways to take away from those panels and those conversations. And also that the questions that you get as well from people are also really interesting to hear people's perspective. And like even some of the we had one of the panels where someone was actually suggesting an idea, and I was like, actually that idea is great, but it's actually I feel like that idea's been around for years. Yeah. And actually businesses should be doing that anyway. Like that's not that's not changing the game, that's not moving the dial. So yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a full-on day, and I will be hanging up my panel robe for a while, I think, until the summer.
Yeah.
I need to rest my voice.
We've got our own panels to put together, babe.
We've got our own event to do. Oh my God. Oh my God. But yes, and I also learned what a kleptomaniac was.
Oh, right, yeah.
We were talking about something, me and my friend were talking about something, I can't remember what we were talking about. And I said, oh, that's a kleptomaniac. And she was like, yeah, it's a kleptomaniac. And I was like, oh, actually, I don't feel like it is until we Googled it. And I was like, oh, a kleptomaniac is someone that steals and knows that they're stealing.
Yeah, but it's actually, that is a mental health disorder.
It's a mental health.
Disorder.
No,
it's not very nice, is it?
It's a mental health
illness.
Yeah.
And one of the symptoms of that is the incredible guilt that comes after, because it's actually not it's something that is done not off of the back of, oh, I need to steal, but it's actually like impulsive. It's impulsive illness, and then what comes after that is an incredible amount of guilt and shame. And, that's why it's classed as a mental health illness.
Yeah, but I literally didn't, when you I've heard people actually say it before and just passing.
Yeah.
But I never knew that it was a mental health illness. I didn't know that it was, I didn't know that. So I learned something new. And like I say, every day is a school day. So I thoroughly enjoyed learning that.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was our week.
I had a family member that was diagnosed with that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, did not know that. I'm learning something new every week about you. And I also went out with my family for Mother's Day, and they ended up just taking the piss out of my hair, so we won't be talking about that any further.
Well, I, for one, am loving the new look.
Thank you. I've decided to put it up.
Yeah, I love.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Yeah, it was needed to get out of my face. Louisa said that I was vain yesterday because I wanted to see my face more.
I actually said you're a bit of a Maisie. Because the issue was that he couldn't see enough of his face.
Yeah, I literally felt like my face had been overshadowed by my hair, and I was like, this is not on. I cannot see my eyes. I barely have any eyebrows, and I couldn't see them.
Oh my God. Do you know what, though? I am loving the pushed up. I like to see more of your face as well.
It also makes me look slightly skinnier, I feel like,
It certainly does make, I know what you mean, because you've got it up and it's more narrowed, but you also, it's like, it's more you because it's more tidy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other one was like, there's no taming it. Yeah. Anyway,
I get ya.
Enough about the hair. Let's get into what's the word on the street.
What's the word on the street?
Word on the street. Word on the street. Word on the street. Word on the street. Right. Do you want to go first?
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to highlight a little piece in the news, which is about IKEA. So IKEA have been told to tackle sexual harassment after UK complaint. It's quite interesting, actually, because I did not know anything about, where is it? It's the EHRC, Equality and Human Rights Commission. Now, I didn't know that this is the kind of thing they do. They get involved in these sorts of things. So basically, the UK Equality Watchdog told the BBC that it was rare to take this kind of action. Oh, okay, so it is rare to take that kind of action. Cool. IKEA said it did not tolerate harassment of any kind. The Swedish furniture giant has around 12,000 employees in the UK. The Equality and Human Rights Commission first got involved with IKEA in February last year after being made aware of an allegation of sexual harassment and assault in one of its UK stores. Did not know about that at the time. It was also alleged that the complaint was not appropriately handled by management. It's understood that the person who made the complaint no longer works for IKEA. Since then, the EHRC has been working with IKEA to improve its policies and practices relating to sexual harassment. IKEA has now signed a legal agreement with the EHRC that commits it to an action plan to help protect its staff in the UK.
EHRC, I must look into that because I've never heard of them before.
Yeah.
Is that just for retail?
I don't know, to be honest. Yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like, same as you, we need to get a little bit more of a grasp on what they do. But this is apparently not something that they do often, by all accounts of the news.
Which is not always true.
But I do think that it's really good that there is, an organisation in place.
A body.
I guess it's like, I was going to say, I guess it's like it's like a union that teachers are a part of, that sort of thing. It's there to protect the people.
Yeah. Well, it'd be interesting to know more about it because I've never heard of it before, and obviously, like, I know that sexual harassment happens in a lot of other industries, and it'd be nice to get them to come and police them. So I wonder how you blow. What's it called? Whistle blow.
Whistle blow.
How do you whistle blow?
Oh, bloody hell! Well, that would say.
I'll get them on speed dial.
You're making it sound like you're being sexually harassed in the workplace.
Oh no! I wish no.
But yeah, I thought it was a really interesting little piece of news there. And you know what we were saying the other day on that panel that we referenced earlier that we spoke on? We were talking about racism and stuff in the news. And one of the things that I mentioned in there was, want to see more in the news about how you tackle it. Like, what's the next steps? Like, these are opportunities to tell people how to do better and the ways of doing that. And I feel like this is a little bit of that.
Yeah, so it's kind of like
telling us something's happened in a big retail firm.
Yeah, and then saying what the solution is.
This is the solution,
Yeah. So it'd be interesting to do a follow-up with them and see what actually has happened now that after they've gone in, and what policies they've had to put in place, etc., etc.
Yeah, exactly.
So my word on the street was this interesting article that I read following on our conversation last week around the menopause. I read about England's first ever menopause employment champion.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa. I mean, I love it when things align. It just alignment, synchronicity.
Synchro.
So it says here that employers are being encouraged to better support women experiencing menopause as the government has appointed England's first ever menopause employment champion. We are delighted about this move and want to congratulate Helen Tomlinson, who is Head of Talent, UK and Ireland at the Adecco Group, as she embarks on the historic role. Helen will focus on encouraging employers to develop menopause policies to create more supportive environments to help women experiencing menopause to stay and progress in work. And I was like, that is, wow. Can you believe that's the first ever person that's ever been a champion of menopause? And menopause has been around for what? Ever.
I had this conversation yesterday at the KTN Innovate boot camp day, because that was just basically all women, and we were saying the same thing. We're like, the menopause has been around since the dawn of females, so why is this only happening now? But great that it is happening. I'm here for it, and it is a celebratory moment.
Yes,
for sure.
We have to celebrate them, celebrate the small wins. But it's like, well, should it be a win? Should it not be something that's already there? But okay. This is a little fun fact for you. Did you know 1 in 4 women consider leaving their jobs because of menopause, and 1 in 10 actually then end up doing so and actually leaving?
That is a wild statistic, isn't it?
I just thought 1 in 10 people actually leave their job because of menopause. Menopause, and because they're not being looked after properly.
It's sad, that is.
We need to, there's definitely a whole area around menopause that we need to home in on, and I'd really want to connect with this Helen Tomlinson and find out more about how she's going to go about doing what she's going to do, and maybe even get her on the poddy.
Would love that.
Yeah, that'd be so amazing. So, that was word on the street. Let's jump straight into our E&I topic of the week. E&I topic of the week. So, this week, we thought that we would talk about well-being, belonging, and being part of something. First of all, I'm going to start off by asking you, Louisa, how is your well-being today?
Today? Yeah, today. Today's all right, actually. Yeah, today I've been feeling quite content. I did have a snappy moment, actually, this afternoon. So I got told not to leave my scooter in the hallway. I had to leave it in the bathroom because it dripped muddy water everywhere from yesterday's road trip. So, other than that, though, it's been quite nice. But I have been feeling lately like I'm just so tired all the time.
Yeah.
And you know what I was saying to you about, so yesterday, my well-being in the evening felt somewhat different than it did today, because I do think that when you're doing and you probably agree with me. Like when you're doing a lot of sort of panel talks and, workshops just being in a network of people where you're giving yourself to them basically, or, giving them advice or giving them, guidance on things, or chatting about like their businesses and how to do things better, etc. It's like you are actually spending your energy,
emotional tax,
across people, and then literally by like 7:30 last night I couldn't even speak. Like I literally couldn't speak. I just said, Ricky was like, "What's wrong with you?" I was like, "I'm tired."
Aren't you glad we didn't go to that networking event?
Fuck yeah, that would have been awful. What a bad decision that would have been. I'm so glad we didn't go. I would have been so angry as well.
You would have been so snappy.
Yeah, definitely, because
I just knew it was going to be a full-on day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we're slowly learning, aren't we?
Yeah, not to jam pack our days, because it doesn't work for us. We end up just snapping at each other.
Slowly learning, though.
Slowly, yeah. Unfortunately, sometimes we just have to. We haven't got a choice.
Yeah, no, exactly, yeah. So, yeah, wellbeing's not so bad today. You?
I am probably a bit similar. Like, I think I'm just a bit tired. I feel like, I'm tired. I feel like there's been a lot of different stresses that have come out of the week, just generally. So I'm a bit tired. I feel like I'm got my therapy session tomorrow, which I feel like is long overdue. I think I haven't had therapy in 3 weeks.
I was going to say, have you been doing that weekly or not weekly?
Every other week. So
okay.
Every 2 weeks.
But you missed one.
I missed one because I was away last week, so it's this week. So it's been 3 weeks, and you know what I mean? Like kind of feel it, but I am thinking of moving it to one a month rather than every 2 weeks.
Okay.
So maybe it's, I don't know, maybe we'll see. But I feel like I'm ready. I'm due a conversation. I'm due a chat. I'm also having some really bad issues with my feet. And they are really causing me a lot of problem and a lot of pain. So I've got, just so everyone knows, I've got plantar fasciitis. It has been diagnosed. It has been diagnosed for many, many years.
Have you got that on your NHS app?
I don't know, actually. Probably. I haven't looked into detail. I've got my NHS app with all my medication and stuff is pretty long.
Yeah, you ought to pop that one on there.
So I've got, so because of my plantar fasciitis, basically the arch of my feet they're so, when I walk, I can't walk. They're just so sore. Like, even when we were in Devon last week, I was like literally like hobbling around everywhere.
It seems to be getting
worse. Yeah, I need to book an appointment to see a doctor, or something, or chiropodist.
Yeah.
But I've got a golf ball at home that I just constantly just roll on the bottom of my feet, which really helps. But you can literally hear like it all crackling.
Oh,
and, like,
no!
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
Oh,
and on the side of my arch of my heel, there's a massive lump. It's really sore. Yeah.
What is going on in there? Do you know? Or?
I don't really know, to be honest. But I probably should.
You should.
But I think it's something to do with the fact that my feet are flat.
Right, yeah.
But so because of that, it's been causing me a lot of pain, and I feel like when you have pain, it stops you from like sleeping. So I haven't been sleeping well. So yeah, all in all, my well-being is probably not the best. I'd probably say out of 10, that's a solid 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Solid 6. Anyway,
I feel like from an outside perspective, maybe it's not as high as that.
What? You're basically saying that I'm falling apart. From an outsider's perspective, I don't think you're quite a 6. I think maybe you're thinking more of a 4.
I've just been worried about you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why?
Why? Because you keep taking so much on, and then we have had conversations over the past few weeks. We've both been waking up in pools of sweat and.
Yeah, I mean, just share it all with our listeners. Why not?
Why not?
SISUciety, Louise and I have got the nervous sweat. I've got a sweaty disposition anyway, so I'm always sweaty. But I have been waking up like in the middle of the night and just in a pool.
I know, and it's just
But I think it's because, do you know what? Yeah, we have to give ourselves a pat on the back, because doing what we do is hard. It is hard. Like we are growing a business. We're trying to run our life as normal as best we can.
Trying to manage our personal lives.
Manage our personal lives, manage our relationships with our friends, deal with, everything else that gets thrown.
Unhinged family members.
So many unhinged family members. And everything else that gets thrown in our site. I mean, my council tax just went up, and literally the reason why I can't sleep is because my council tax has doubled.
Oh God!
Like, and my bills, like, it's just everything is just like. Anyway, we digress. This is turning into therapy.
This is turning. Yes, welcome.
It is probably. I do feel like I am. I would say I'm a 6. I think there's. I always like to think about all the positive things that are happening in my life.
Absolutely.
That then helps me to go to sleep, put a smile on my face. So yeah, I'm still going to bed with a smile on my face. So that's good.
That is good. Yeah, good news.
Anyway, the reason why we asked about well-being is because I wanted to talk about the connection that well-being has with equality, inclusion, and belonging. And I guess, as a society, in the last 5 years, I would say well-being has become more and more on the forefront of people's minds. Yeah. Especially businesses. Businesses are talking more about well-being than they ever have before.
Absolutely.
However, I feel like businesses are more than happy to spend the money on well-being. Yeah. Why is that? Is it? I don't get it.
Okay, so I think like the first thing that sort of springs to my mind is that well-being has come to the forefront of everybody's minds since we had the pandemic and everybody was locked up in their homes, secluded from one another, secluded from their team members, not face to face, not being able to like collaborate properly. So I think from that whole experience, that has kind of birthed this need to concentrate on people's well-being, because well-being dipped so drastically within that time period. And also, might I add, that...
You may, you're still talking.
And also, Louisa, obviously in that time period, the George Floyd murder happened, and that kind of hit society like a ton of bricks, and people in different ways, obviously, and that had a detriment on a lot of people's well-being as well. So it kind of like, so well-being really, I think, just flattened within that period of time, and that's why businesses were like, we really need to focus on well-being, la la la. But what they failed to see was the connection between equality, equity, inclusion massively. Like, we were secluded to our own homes, to our bedrooms or our living rooms or whatever, for those that were privileged enough to have an office space, like amazing. But some people literally had like the tiniest little room. I had people that were working with me who house shared, but they only had their own little space in their bedroom. And that's exactly where they were the whole time. Yeah. They slept in there, they ate in there, they worked in there. So, that does stuff to people's minds. That is seclusion. And when you're not feeling included in a bigger story, let's say, it has a detrimental effect on your well-being. And I think that actually that's what businesses are failing to see.
They think the story that's not being the picture that's not being
that sound.
The picture that's not being painted is a day in the life of someone that doesn't feel like they're included.
Yeah.
So like, picture this, on a G day, is getting up to go into work, knowing fully well that there's going to be loads of microaggressions. He's going to be faced. He's going to be asked about his new hairstyle. Someone's probably going to touch his hair, and he's probably going to be told that he is late, and he knows he's late because he hasn't got enough money to get the bus. Talk to me about how I'm going to feel. I'm going to feel like shit. I'm going to feel like I'm going to be disengaged with the team. I'm going to be disengaged with my work, and I'm going to feel horrible for the whole day. And then I'm going to go home. I'm going to live in my in my studio apartment, not having enough money to pay the electricity bills, or put food in the fridge, and then I'm going to go to sleep and going to wake up and going to do the same thing all over again. And then my boss is going to call me in and be like, you haven't completed your assignments, or we feel like you're not really being very you, like your personality is really dwindled. Like,
keep being late.
Yeah.
You know, it's having an effect on the rest of the team.
Yeah, like you feel like you're not being much of a team player. Why aren't you coming out to the socials?
Yeah, all of that.
All that stuff. And the lack of understanding that, because I've never felt like I could really be my authentic self at work, and I don't think anyone in the team has ever understood me or understood where I've come from, or my background, my culture, my whatever, my disability, whatever that is, the characteristics that you might have, then I don't feel like I can show up and be me.
Yeah.
So actually, my well-being is affected immediately. I don't feel like I can come into work, and you spend I can't remember what the percentage was at the stat that came up, but you spend up 80% of your life at work.
Most of your time is at work.
At work. So
when you're working in the office,
I've seen it firsthand in so many different ways where people's well-being gets so affected, and that's how people then go and lead to alcohol and drugs and all sorts of other stuff to medicate.
Yeah.
And that all stems from having a shit time at work.
Yeah.
So I feel like people need to understand that inclusion and belonging links solely to your well-being. Like, if you feel included, if you feel you have a sense of belonging, if you feel like you are seen, then you will feel happier.
Oh, yeah. It just sounds so simple.
It does.
And easy, and, you know, common sense ish.
I know, but like we always say, not everyone's common sense is at the same level.
Well, yeah, and everyone's common sense is different. But then, so it's not common, is it?
I read this. I actually don't remember where I read this, or if you wrote this, I can't remember. But companies are struggling with how they get people into the office. Businesses are missing that connecting people. How do you make people feel like they belong in this new way of living? So we're talking about well-being, and, you know, obviously we've had this. I've seen it's really difficult because I can see both perspectives, right? I've seen so many people who are like, everyone has to come back to the office now, like 100% time, and it has to be spent in the office. We're office people, blah, blah, blah. And then you've got people that are like, flexible working is the best way forward. And you've got people that are like, you just stay at home.
Remote, yeah.
Just 100% remote. And I'm kind of trying to understand which is the best method, because all three methods, I think, have a detrimental effect on people's well-being depending on the kind of person that you are.
Yeah, so I mean, well, no, I don't agree with that. I would say that telling everybody, yes, you have to be in the office 100% of the time can have a detrimental effect. And telling people that we are going remote and there is nowhere else for you to work but at home it will also have a detrimental effect. I actually think meeting in the middle, in the flexible, and allowing people to choose, giving them choice, an option, and then allowing each individual to choose that. And it also actually creates a better environment for collaboration, because you then are giving your employees a little bit more onus on their own time. So then if they work in a team that's collaborative, that team has now got to be even more collaborative, because they've got to work out when they need to be in the office together or when they need to do meetings together. So actually just giving people a little bit more, what's the word? Oh, shit. I've got it in my head. It begins with A. Come on.
Avenues?
No! Bloody hell. I thought you was going to give it to me then. Autonomy.
Same.
Autonomy, yes. You're giving your teams then a little bit more autonomy. So that will improve well-being in itself, because everybody, who doesn't like to be in control of their own life?
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be in control of their own life. Nobody wants to be controlled. Nobody wants to be micromanaged and told what to do.
Nope. Okay.
I certainly don't.
No. I guess the question is, how do you ensure that people have that sense of belonging whilst in this way of working? So whilst you have flexible working where half the people are in the office, half the people aren't in the office. Sometimes you might be in the office and you might be like one of three. Like, it's difficult then to make sure that everyone comes together.
Yeah, but you can still do things like that. You can, if you work in an office, let's say you've got like, I don't know, 50 employees or whatever, and you are promoting flexible working and you're giving that autonomy to your people, and they're kind of divvying out when they're going to be in the office and when they're not going to be in the office. You can always have at least once a month, maybe you just say like, okay, on this day, once a month, we are all going to come into the office together, and there's going to be some sort of initiative, or there's going to be, not initiative, because that just sounds so corporate. There's going to be some sort of like get together, like whether it's in the office and you're having like a celebration, do it on a Friday or something, and you've got like, I don't know, bring some cakes in, whatever. I don't know. I'm thinking really basic right now, but you can muster up that community feel still by giving people the flexibility and the options to run on their own time.
Yeah, I guess it's about you having to think outside the box, isn't it? About how you bring people together, and ensuring that you have consistency in that. I think what a lot of people then tend to find difficult is when people are like, they make up excuses and they can't come into the office, or you do something virtually and then people don't have their cameras on, and I guess people are just being faced with loads of different struggles, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but like the whole thing about like having your cameras on and blah blah blah, all of that, I actually don't buy into that. I just think that the people who don't have their cameras on, whatever, they don't have their cameras on, so what? Let them be. That's how they want to live. They're not the ones that are feeling excluded. They don't want to be a part of it.
I don't know. I do struggle when you're having a meeting with people and they don't have the cameras on. I like connecting with people's faces. I like connecting with people's eyes, and like you don't know if you're. I mean, I know that a couple of people that have meetings in their bed in their pajamas.
Yeah, same.
And I'm like, like that to me just shows that you possibly don't care enough about what you're doing.
Why though? Why does that show that they don't care enough about what they're doing? I know people who do that, and they are the hardest grafters I know. And they sit in their bed at 9 a.m. and have their office meeting in their pajamas. And there's nothing wrong with that. They're comfortable. They're happy.
It depends on what kind of meeting you're having.
Let them be happy.
It depends on what kind of meeting you're having, I guess. For me, it's like if you're having an all hands where everyone's like coming together and it's about connecting, if you don't have your cameras on, how do you connect?
So, for that sort of thing, then I guess it's more about training, workshops, that kind of stuff, where you want everybody to connect and you want everybody to see what other people are looking like, their body language, etc. Yeah, fair enough. But if we're talking about day to day here in the office, I really don't see anything wrong with just letting people work the way they want to work, live the way they want to live, because the only time it will become a problem is if productivity is low, which you can measure on each employee. If productivity is low and they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing or getting things done when they're supposed to be getting them done, then obviously you have every right to be pulling someone in on that. But to say you can't take a meeting with your camera off and sitting in your bed in your PJs at 9 a.m. on a Friday, because I want to see your eyeballs, it's just, I don't think that's good enough.
No, I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence still. I don't know. I'm on the fence. I don't know why I'm on the fence. I don't know. There's something about. I mean, I've done it. So I've sat in my. I sat in my dressing gown for most of this morning because I was literally shattered. I
saw you in your dressing gown this morning, didn't I?
You did.
On the WhatsApp.
You did. I was literally sitting there in my dressing gown. I was like, I am exhausted. But I was showered and ready, hair done.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't be bothered to get changed. So I get it. I guess what the message is that there has to be an element of flexibility, because like we said, if you're thinking about people's well-being and people's mindset, people have days where they just can't be bothered, or they can't. They're not feeling it. They're not feeling themselves.
Yes.
So putting the camera on is just the last thing they want to do.
Exactly.
People have all sorts of things going on behind closed doors that we do not know enough about. So I think sometimes you have to be really careful with when you demand people to put their cameras on.
Yeah.
Because there might be a specific reason, especially if you're doing it in a group setting.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Like, and you know, for those people who don't have their cameras on, yeah, and let's say you've sent that message out and you've said to them, like, you know, we're doing this workshop today or whatever, we're having this meeting today, and it'd be really great if everyone could switch their cameras on so we could all see your lovely faces, blah, blah, blah. And you still get those few people who just don't do it, yeah. I would check in with those people after.
Yeah.
Is everything all right? You know, is everything okay? Do you need my help with anything? That sort of thing, you know. I just think that we need to kind of chill out with all this stuff. You know, professionalism and productivity is not pinned to
the office.
It's not pinned to what you're wearing or where you're sitting or what you look like, right? It is about action.
That is, wow, powerful. It is about action, everyone. It isn't about what you wear, where you are. It is about what you produce.
What you produce, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, so staying in the realm of well-being, what would be some of the tools that you say would suggest to people around how they can start connecting well-being and E&I together?
Some of the tools.
I would start off by saying I wasn't an advocate for mental health first aid before. I wasn't. I thought that it was basically a pile of shit because I'd been on quite a few mental health first aid sessions that were by far boring and problematic. The language used in some of the sessions that I'd been in for a couple of years ago were just problematic. I felt like they hadn't moved with the times.
Well, that's the thing with some of those things as well, because they are run by individuals. Yeah, so obviously an MHFA trainer is trained in a setting, and then they take that away and make it their own. Yeah, so it's always going to be different. Yeah, with obviously the base element being the same.
Yeah. Although I feel like I will leave it at that. Actually, I'm not going to get too messy. But I recently redid my mental health first aid with Corin and Co. Absolutely loved it. And it made me realise that the way that you make the connection, I think, is like taking people on a journey of exploration. And if you find a really good mental health first aid trainer who takes you on a journey of understanding the language behind mental health first aid, then I think you can then use that to kind of cascade down to your teams and open up conversations around understanding the intersectionalities around mental health and well-being. Because actually you talk about all sorts of different mental health crises. I
don't know.
You talk about different mental health crises. Fuck. Honestly, when is my speech therapy starting? Different mental health crises.
Yeah, let's leave it at that. I can't help you out on this one. I don't know. Crises. James? I go with crises. All right.
Crises.
Mental health crises.
Crises. Shit, man. I need to read. My mum used to always tell me, you need to read more. You need to read because your English is terrible. But yeah, different mental health crisis. Anyway, fuck it. Different mental health things, and the way that they share those stories, it opens your eyes into how different types of people from different communities and different groups might experience mental health, depending on their gender, depending on their socioeconomic background, depending on access, depending on so much stuff. And then you start to think about how people show up to work and what people might have gone through before they turn up to work, and then you start talking about that toxic positivity.
Yeah, toxic positivity.
Yeah, and you start thinking about how, especially like from the industry that I've come from, where
I fucking hate that.
What, the industry or the
toxic positivity? Like,
I know. Oh, we used to have a friend that used to be very toxic positive. She does a lot of toxic positive stuff at the moment still, I think.
Anyway, back to the conversation.
I didn't even spout my water. I feel like the hospitality industry it's an industry where, and that's why I always relate it back to this, especially any service-led industry where people are expected to put on a mask when they come into work, and expected to paint on a smile and serve people. I just think there's something about how much of a mindfuck that is. How much, you know, if you're going through something and then you're expected to come into work and be like, "Hi, can I take your order?"
Yeah.
And it's like, and I did it for so long. I mean, I think I still do it sometimes. I think everyone still does it.
I think everyone
does it at some point in their lives. But I think it's understanding that everyone can't come into work and do that sometimes, and understanding that we need to have regular check-ins with our people. Yes, absolutely. And understanding how to have those regular check-ins.
Yeah, absolutely agree. But I really do think that there is moments of just Amy Nicknell, she's like a creature.
I wish you could show a camera on her right now, but Maisie's sitting in the corner looking like
the Ring.
Wednesday Addams crossed with the Ring.
God's sake. What I think is super important though.
Oh, she's thirsty. Hey, have some water.
Oh, sorry, SISUciety. Here she is, look. Just desperately wanted to make an appearance.
Desperately.
Okay. So what I think is super important now to build on that, those regular check-ins and stuff is actually showing your people that you do care by introducing your equality and inclusion strategy and making sure that it is connected to well-being and that you are educating your people on the fact that it is a connection. And it is a one, you know, it's not two separate things. These things, I think, have to run parallel.
I think the problem I think what I've seen, the problem that arises is that people have not been enlightened in this way. So hopefully this message cascades down to loads and loads of people and they start to see the power of doing it together. And I actually think that, like, for instance, we worked with a client who decided to go and do the mental health first aid and appoint wellbeing champions, and their wellbeing champions became their E&I champions, and those people were able to cascade and impact and influence a business on such a ridiculous level because they had brought into the wellbeing and understanding that wellbeing and E&I are connected so much together, and actually you start to see that impact and that movement of the conversation and the language. And it all plays part and parcel of like that inclusive language principles, doesn't it? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's really interesting. I mean, I love talking about well-being. I feel like people don't talk about their well-being enough, and like the things that people go through on like, sharing like experiences. Like,
no,
I feel like I don't really hear about people's struggles.
For me, it's still very much plastered over. It's like, okay, we're tackling well-being and we're doing the MHFA course and we've got our well-being champions and we're, you know, going for walks and shit like that. But for me, it's about the nitty-gritty stuff. It's about, sharing raw experiences for people to be able to empathise with you and resonate. And also, when you do that, you never know who you're helping. I'll tell you what, actually, yesterday I forgot to tell you this, but yesterday in the confidence workshop that I ran for these women at KTN, there was a lady in the crowd who, when I took some comments and stuff, we were talking about imposter syndrome, and she was referring to the fact that she has to speak a lot to investors, right, for her business. And she, at the time that she set up her business, she was heavily pregnant, and she hid the fact that she was heavily pregnant with her second child from investors because she felt that they would not invest in her should they know that she was having another baby. And when she started talking about this, it's actually going to make me cry now, but when she was talking about it and she started to break up and crumble a little bit, and then I could see the tears welling up in her eyes, and her voice started to crack, and she said that she actually lost her child. So the baby that she had, the baby that she was pregnant with and she was hiding from these investors, she lost that baby. And the energy in the room just completely and utterly changed, and it was just like full of love, full of empathy, and other women wanting to, you know, reach out to this woman and show her that they cared and that they, you know, they were there and that they understood like some of these struggles and stuff. And there was another lady in there who went up to her after, and you could see that there was some sort of resonance there with this other lady, so she'd probably been through a similar experience. And I think that is what builds connection the most.
Empathy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is empathy. It's sharing stories. Fucking hell, I sound like a broken record, but it is sharing stories and all the time. I think one of the things that I found really powerful from actually doing the mental health first aid was realising that wellbeing isn't just about mental health, that there's so much more to it. But I also loved the fact that you go into this space, it's a 2-day course most of the time, and you go into a space and you really have to be quite authentic and you really have to be quite transparent with yourself. With yourself,
with the people around you. You've got to be raw.
Yeah. And a lot of the time, when I've sat in on a lot of the workshops recently, people have really opened up about their feelings and emotions, and you learn so much about the people that you actually spend so much time with, and you're like, fuck, I didn't realise. And like you said, it's like you completely immediately have that empathy with someone, and the room completely changes when someone's shared an experience where they've tried to take their own life, or where they've had someone take their own life, etc., etc. And you're just like,
that's when you stop looking at people as colleagues and you start looking at people as human beings.
Yeah, and that's really, really powerful. But I would always say to people, like, be careful with how you have those conversations and where you have them, because
of course. You can't just roll up to somebody and be like, so, hello, Jane, tell me about your traumas.
Yeah. Not everyone wants to share. Like, it's taken me so long to share about my well-being. Like, even like with Sean sometimes is like, I feel like you never talk about how you feel, and I'm like, I'm African. I'm Nigerian, and we do not talk about our feelings and emotions. We don't have any. But I it's not something that I was used to, like, growing up. So, you know,
it's a very sensitive topic of conversation, and you have to build rapport with people, and you have to build trust with people for sure. But again, like, bringing it back to that sharing experience, that is what creates that. That's what builds that trust.
I also think it's like how you ask the question. It's like, I said that to Sean as well. So I think it's like, how do you ask the question? Like, asking someone, how was your day? It's very broad. Like, and then you have to, if someone then tells you about how their day is, you then have to listen to what they're saying and then pick things off like an onion. Like, you have to peel layers back before people then start to really divulge the nitty gritty. Just asking a really blanket question doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the answer that you.
No, of course not.
It's going to be deep. So.
I actually watched a really good little clip of a video of this was a lady who's like a coach for children, basically, and parenting, and can't remember her name, sorry. She said, asking a child at the end of their school day, how was school today, is just way too much for them to then go through their mind and be like, right, okay, so how was my day at school? What did I do? La, la, la. And she was like, you have to be specific. What did you have for lunch at school today? Did you learn anything mathematical at school today? Did you have PE today? So it's being specific. Yeah. And I think that applies to this situation.
Same thing. Yeah. Specific. Wow. Well, that was fairly interesting. I think I really want us to home in more on our well-being aspect, elements of what we do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We talk about it a lot, but we don't. And actually, we have loads to talk about when it comes to well-being. We've both experienced high and lows of well-being in our own everyday lives.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
And so, we need to do more. So we'll watch this space, y'all. Watch this space.
Let's get those energy droplet courses out there.
Yeah, Louisa's built this energy droplet course, which is actually we've spoken about so many times. I just can't. But if you want to find out more, contact us. We've got Louisa's built this amazing workshop around. What is it around?
It's about where you spend your energy, basically.
Where you spend your energy.
4 quadrants of energy.
4 quadrants of energy. Oh, we'll do that next time. We'll talk about.
Oh, okay.
We'll talk about energy and where you spend your energy.
Maybe we should do it with each other. That'd be a good idea.
Oh, that'd be interesting because I think I spend my energy on a lot of things that I probably shouldn't. I know that's what you're trying to get at.
Like our money.
Oh dear, money. Right, should we get into the questions of the week before Maisie jumps and screams at us? So the first question that we have here from the SISUciety is trans women cannot experience periods, childbirth or menopause. So how do we separate and protect the women's experience without diluting it, confusing it or overshadowing it?
Yeah.
This is following on from last week's menopause.
Following on from
menopause episode. Like what we did there.
Menopause.
That was James. Trans women cannot experience periods, childbirth or menopause. So how do we separate and protect women's experience without diluting it, confusing it or overshadowing it? I think this goes back to what we said last week though, isn't it? It's about women need to understand, I guess, the experience of a trans woman, and a trans woman probably needs to understand a bit more in depth about the experience of a woman and respect both experiences because both experiences will be so different, and it's not about trying to take away from either experiences, but it's going, this is my experience. It's like anyone though, it's like anything. It's like I always say to my brother, for instance, that me and my brother don't have the same experience when it comes to anything. We might be like anything. We might be both men and be both black, and from the same family, but our experiences with life are completely different. Yeah. Like, so everyone's experiences are different. Like Dami's experience with life is that he has very, like, extraordinarily managed to get through life without really saying to me he's not really experienced racism. And like he's got to the top of his game in doing amazing things, traveling the world, and race has never become a question. Whereas I have not done that. I've literally experienced it at every bloody waking moment. I get stared at fucking walking down the coast. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and so his experience is different to mine, and I think people need to understand that experiences vary from person to person. It's very, very personal. And I think it's important that we all understand those experiences. So that would be my answer to that question.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I feel like there is some space there to create something more like communal for trans women and cisgender women, that's where they can share experiences and also, like ask questions and find out more. Be curious.
Yeah. I guess it's like, how? Yes, how? Well, we spitballed a little idea last week, didn't we? Did we? Yeah, about building like a community. I don't know the ins and outs of it yet. Obviously, it was just an idea, and I did actually. We put it out on the socials, didn't we, for everyone who has listened to this week's episode, last week's episode. Even. Jesus, last week's episode. To let us know what you think about it, basically. Oh, like a little community group where we get like-minded people from like women and trans. Yeah, even if you do like a round table or something like that, some sort of get-together. Yeah. I think it would be very beneficial. Yeah. And all it can do is create more advocates and allies for both parties. And I think to answer that question right, I think if the word overshadowing, if you're going in with that attitude or that mindset, then that's what you're going to get out of it. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're going in thinking that, oh, this person's trying to overshadow my experience without giving them the time of day to even get to that point, then that's what's going to happen. Do you see what I mean? No, absolutely. And unfortunately, I do see that a lot in this space with different groups of marginalised people. That it feels like that is the constant battle of my experience needs more attention. No, my experience needs more attention. Do you know what I mean? I think there is constantly a little bit of a battle between groups. And that's one of the things that we always say, this isn't about divide. It's about accepting one another, not just from, different groups, but just as human beings in general. Yeah. We can't fix all the problems all at once. It's virtually impossible. I mean, we have yet to fix any of the problems so far, but
we're working on it.
We're working on it, but you can't do everything all at once. You have to pick things off, unfortunately.
No, the world's a fucking mess.
Where did we have a conversation about trumps, about top trumps on like categories and characteristics? Oh my God, we had a weird conversation. I can't remember where it was. I'm going to have to come back to it.
All right. We had park that one.
Park that one. Next question. You mentioned in the news recently a lady's... Ooh, okay, this is in depth, this one. Let me just get my laptop closer.
Do you want me to read it out?
Yeah, go on then.
You mentioned in the news recently a lady stealing the Iranian culture when in fact she was of alternative heritage. You said she was the Equality and Inclusion Officer at a firm called Quakers and an activist for Iranian women's rights. I couldn't help but think after this week's conversation and all the conversations I've heard around accepting people for what they choose to be identified as based off of their feeling, why does this not apply to this young lady? How can we slam her when perhaps she has never felt she has fitted into her original heritage and is fighting for one she may feel more affiliated to? Dun, dun, dun.
Give us a gong. Let me just...
Do you want a little getting into your brain?
I mean, it's a good question. It's a really good question. And you know what? I love this. I love this space because you always get people from different angles coming at it. I don't have an answer, personally. I actually don't have an answer because for me, she was appropriating another culture and lying. So
but this is the thing, right? So these sorts of things, right, they come up in the news. We get to read the piece of the news that is printed, yeah, but we don't know the backstory because, one, we don't know who this person is. We don't know her family. We don't know her mother. We don't know where she works, but we're told these factors, yeah. She's stolen this heritage. She's stolen this culture. She's from this heritage. Her mum said this. She works in equality and inclusion. She's an activist for Iranian women, and that's what we're told. Yeah, so we don't get the backstory of anything. We don't know what it was like growing up for her. We don't know who her friends are. We don't know what kind of situations she's been in. We don't know anything like that. So actually, for us to make a judgment either way is probably the wrong thing to do.
I mean, that's a very...
Said like a true politician.
Literally, you just spilled off loads of... I literally just was watching your mouth and I was like, what are you even saying? I guess we don't know what she's going through. We don't know how her well-being is. We don't know where her head's at. We don't know anything about this woman. However, when you look at it from the top level view of it, it doesn't look right. The optics, as people would say, are not correct. If she comes out and explains that this is the case, that she is transitioning into maybe a different culture, and she, I don't know, has put on so much fake tan, I don't know, maybe.
But that's the thing though, isn't it? Because, you can, if I wanted to, I could become Jewish, right? If I wanted to, I could become Christian. If
you're not Christian.
If I decided to, if I felt like I wasn't, I didn't have the right body for how I felt, I can change that. Yeah, I don't need anybody's permission to do that, but it's down to me.
Yeah, it's messy. It's murky waters when you start changing your race, though, isn't it?
I don't know if it is. I don't see the difference between gender, race, religion. These are all protected characteristics. They all are.
I'm going to have to come back to this. I'm going to have to park this one and have a little deep think about how I feel about it, because I'm not sure.
I'd be super interested to actually hear anybody's opinions on that. So, yeah, please do get in touch via the Marby.
Drop us a WhatsApp. In case you didn't know, we have a WhatsApp, everyone.
Yeah, voice note us, let us know what you think about this
we
stuff.
haven't received any voice notes in ages.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, these are really like interesting topics, and everybody does come at them from a different perspective and a different angle. And from my personal opinion, all these opinions are valid. So it'd be really great to get more perspective on this.
100%. Everyone's opinion's valid. I just feel like everyone has a different way of looking at it through their lens of their own experiences. So I guess for me, someone trying to be black it just feels a bit weird and a bit wrong, considering they're not black.
Yeah, I know, but then does that apply to a woman who, oh, that feels a bit weird to me that you're a man and you want to be a woman.
Yeah.
This can apply all over the strands.
Wow. I think that's all we've got time for. Tune in next week. No, I'm joking.
Every episode is just getting juicier and juicier.
It's getting so juicy. I'm literally walking away with like homework.
Same.
And I'm not having to like think really hard about things, and that's what the thing is that we always say is that there's not a guidebook.
There's no guidebook, and at the end of the day, most of this stuff is based off of opinion and one's feeling.
Yeah, and it's about understanding all the different points of views, isn't it? That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
So let's jump into our Mannies of the Week to end the episode. What is Louise's eyes are popping out of her head? Honestly, one day we're going to get to this section and you're going to be like, my Manny is all around. So I'll start.
I did have that one week.
You did, yeah. I think that was week 3. We are now at week 9.
Bloody hell.
I know. So my manifestation this week is about self-care. I want to manifest self-care. I'm thinking about the week ahead and I'm thinking, how is that going to happen? But I'm going to try and carve out at least 10 minutes of my day where I'm not on my phone, where I'm not talking to anybody else, where I'm just sitting in silence.
Watching the world go by.
Because I'm probably going to do it in the evening, so I don't know if it's going to be able to watch the world go by, but I might sit in the garden and watch the stars.
I was going to say, the world still turns at night, babe.
Does it?
Well, I am.
Oh my God, when I was in Devon, the stars looked incredible. I was going to say another word. Incredible. It looked so good. I literally looked up in the star, and we stood outside and we just looked up, and I've never seen the sky look so beautiful in my whole life.
Well, the further you get away from, the toxic noise, the better the stars look.
There's so much toxicity around us in this place. I need to move somewhere where it's just no one.
I am going to manifest that you get your 10 minutes a day to do this. I am going to give you my manifestation this week. It is a collective manifestation for you. Because I love you and I've got your back.
Oh my God, everyone! Do you hear this? Honestly, if you just come in this week and just thought that you're going to just channel Liz Truss with your absolute...
I am channeling MP vibes.
Absolute MP vibes. I am going to give you my manifestation and second what you said.
I've got you, babes.
Oh, God. Okay. Oh, amazing. Thank you so much.
I'm going to light a candle for you tonight.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I got some spell candles. I'll do that.
Oh, nice. I mean, you still owe me a sound bath.
Okay.
You still owe me that. So maybe
that's what I've been practicing for.
So maybe I can take my 10 minutes on Sunday or Saturday at yours with a sound bath.
Why don't you FaceTime me 10 minutes a day and I'll do your sound bath?
Okay. Well, that's
See you there.
Okay, cool. How's your journaling going?
Yeah, that's fallen. That's falling off. Even Maisie's laughing.
Anyway, everyone, it's been an absolute joy and a pleasure. Stay brave, stay curious.
And stay honest.